Hey Maniacs, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the MAINEiac Radio Show. I'm your host, Tech Sergeant Andy Sinclair with the 101st Public Affairs Office here in Bangor. This is the very first edition of the MAINEiac Radio Show, and it's a brand new and exciting way to keep you well informed of what's going on in the Maine Air National Guard. We at the PA office are very excited about this, and we know that you will be too. Now, the overall goal of this radio show is one thing and one thing only, and it's command message. It's to keep you informed of what's going on in your Maine Air National Guard. Within the show, we're going to have news updates and community updates to keep you informed of different events, things that are changing in our ever-flexible and ever-changing atmosphere. We're also going to have guest speakers throughout the show. In particular, with this episode, we're going to have Master Sergeant Dominic Trammell from the Wing Safety Office to come in and talk to us a little bit about PT and how it walks hand in hand with safety. Just some tips and tricks about how it is that you can remain safe while PTing so that we can complete the mission the way we always have and the way we always will. We're also going to have information of what to expect for upcoming drills, whether that be events or exercises, just more information that you can do to better prepare yourself for when you come in. We're going to have a MAINEiac fact. The MAINEiacs have a very proud history in the Maine Air National Guard, and we could all benefit a little bit more by knowing where that history comes from and where we come from as MAINEiacs. And to close out this episode, we're going to have an excerpt read by Chief Master Sergeant Dan Moore, our Wing Command Chief, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about AFI 362618 and what it means for today's Maine Air National Guard. So with that being said, let's jump right into the MAINEiac news. Family Day. The 2016 Family Day is almost here. Don't miss out on a chance to show your family how much they mean to the MAINEiac family. Drew Matlins is the Airman and Family Readiness Program Manager, and he explains why Family Day is important.
Aside from the fact that it's a fun day for everybody involved, it's a great opportunity for our airmen to share with their families what they do and why what they do is so very important.
Family Day will be held on Sunday of July drill and runs from 11:30 to 1500. Free tuition for Maine National Guard members. LD 1612, a name we've all been hearing tossed around over the last several months, finally makes a name for itself. It's a state bill that allows Maine National Guard members to access free college education, and it's officially been signed and thrown into the fight. Governor Paul LePage signed the bill last month in the Capitol and provides free in-state tuition through the University of Maine, Maine Maritime Academy, and the Maine Community College system. Continuing your education is encouraged in the Maine National Guard, and with this bill officially in effect, our airmen and soldiers will benefit greatly. Operation Sleeping Giant, an exercise name we've heard whispered here and there over the last few months. What is it? Where does it come from? The exercise requirements are to assess mission assurance capabilities that include a host of functional activities such as emergency management, anti-terrorism, and changes in the force protection measures. The goal is to test the MAINEiacs and their capabilities against these challenges so they're better prepared for a real-world scenario. Senior Master Sergeant Chris Morin from the Inspector General Office explains how airmen can prepare for the exercise.
Under the new AFIS construct, airmen need to be prepared to perform the mission, and by doing that, they will be prepared to perform the exercise. Be prepared to do your job and be prepared to do it well, then you'll be ready for the exercise.
The exercise will take place next drill, and airmen are expected to plan accordingly. And that's it for the news. Keeping you informed is our mission. So today we have Master Sergeant Trammell from the Safety Office. He's a safety professional over there. He's here to talk to us a little bit about the coalition between safety and fitness, which, as everyone knows, is vital to today's Air Force, especially being a MAINEiac. Thank you so much, Master Sergeant Trammell, for coming in today. What can you tell us about that?
No, I have no numbers to back me up on this, but it's always seemed to me that anytime anybody's in a better physically fit state, it also correlates to being in a mental state, and the stamina that you hold for your physical fitness and your mental status kind of go hand in hand. And I think at the end of the day, when you're fatigued and things are kind of not going so good, that's when somebody who's physically fit might be at that advantage over someone who's not fit, and they just have a little bit more mental stamina and a capability to make better decisions when fatigue is really setting in. And that's pretty much the message that I'm trying to make today is to make everybody aware that fitness has more than just physical benefits, but I think further on down the road, it can lead to better decision making when you're in that fatigue state. And in this day and age, when we're deploying so much more, you're at the end of a 12-hour, 13-hour shift deployed somewhere. You're just going to be apt to make better decisions down that stretch, not be apt to take that shortcut. And somebody who's in a good physical state can avoid that, I like to think.
With that being said, when people are out there being physically active and they're trying to stay fit and they're PTing and they're playing basketball and they're running and they're lifting weights, people sometimes get hurt. So safety and physical fitness kind of walk hand in hand, and more than just the fact that in order to be safe during your job, you need to be physically fit, but that when you're out being physically active, you have to keep safety in mind. So what's some advice you can give our MAINEiacs when it comes to being physically active and keeping safety at the forefront?
Definitely make sure you do a little warm up before you start exercising, because you really can't stretch cold muscles very well or very effectively at all. So just ensure that you warm up prior to any kind of exercise or activity. Stretch definitely before you exercise or engage in any basketball or any activity, and make sure you take care of those muscles after the workout, because it'll definitely benefit you for the next time you step onto the court or engage in any other physical rigorous activity.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I really do appreciate you coming in today and talk to us about safety and how it correlates with being physically fit. We're probably going to have you again and talk about some more in the coming months, especially with 101 critical days of summer. But I appreciate you coming in.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Sergeant Sinclair.
That was Master Sergeant Turmel from the Wing Safety Office. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to stop by. He's in Building 505. Ask him anything you want. He's a great guy. And now it's time for your MAINEiac Fact. The MAINEiac Fact for this episode is brought to you by the MAINEiac Fuel Specialist, a rigorous and rewarding profession for anyone seeking that next challenge in their life. Contact a recruiter for more information. And here's your MAINEiac Fact. The 101st has been around since February of 1947, but hasn't always been a refueling wing. In fact, the 101st didn't become a refueling wing until 1976. Due to the types of aircraft flown, the 101st was previously known as a Fighter Interceptor Wing, Air Defense Wing, and Fighter Wing. Well, there you go. There's some MAINEiac history for those of you who may not have known we haven't always been in the refueling business. So as I mentioned earlier, today we have our Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Dan Moore. He's here today to talk to us about AFI 362618, that little brown book, and what it means for today's Maine Air National Guard. Chief Moore, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Andy. I do want to take a few moments to talk about the so-called Little Brown Book, AFI 362618. But before I do that, I want to take you back a couple of years and talk about the time at which my wife and I decided to build our home. Before, of course, we could do that, we had to have some idea of what we wanted our house to look like, what we wanted our house to have as some functional capabilities. And then, of course, from that, the designer could put together a blueprint for the builder. The builder then, of course, would take the blueprints and begin construction, but there would not be a house there in a matter of hours. It would take a period of time, as the builder first had to get the foundation correct. And as we all know, if we don't get the foundation correct, then the final product, the home that we had envisioned, does not come out the way we had expected it to come out. I think when we talk AFI 362618, we're talking about the very same thing as we set about building airmen. You know, our job out here is to recruit and train and equip our airmen to meet the mission needs of our state and of our nation. And it's a lot like building a house. You have to have an understanding of the foundational work that needs to be done. We have to understand the structure against which we are going to build the best trained, most well-rounded, most experienced, and most resilient airmen we can. 362618 offers that very structure for us. You know, as I travel around, I talk to a lot of airmen across the spectrum of the enlisted force, and they all have different backgrounds, they all have different capabilities, but I find that they all have a common need, and that is when they come through that gate each and every day, they want to have some idea of what is expected of them. I want to take a look at paragraph 1.1 of 362618 and read just a small excerpt from it. It reads, "To best leverage our resources, we must have a consistent, well-defined set of expectations, standards, and opportunities for growth for all airmen, regardless of specialty. This is accomplished through the enlisted force structure." So we believe this to be important enough that over the coming weeks you will hear from a variety of folks as we take certain samples and excerpts from 362618 and share them with you. I'm hopeful that folks will perhaps chime in and respond to us and let us know what they think 362618 means to them. We are in hopes that we can broaden our understanding of this blueprint about how we build airmen, and in broadening that understanding that we can continue to build the finest airmen the Air Force has in its inventory these days. So I look forward to sharing it with you and hearing from other members of our unit as they too share their ideas about the Little Brown Book. Thanks again.
Yes, thank you, Chief Moore, for that. That was awesome. And thank you for stopping by today. And that's it, Maniacs. I hope you enjoyed today's show. We at the PA office are very excited about this brand new way to disseminate information out to you and hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Always remember that you can access more information about what's happening in today's MAINEiac Guard by visiting our official Facebook page or website. We look forward to seeing you around base, and never forget to take care of yourself and those around you. So long, Maniacs.